Hey, welcome back, everyone. This is Jerome Shaw,
And Ellie Tom Elamine, we're the light beams.
and we got another message for you today. For those of you on the pranic path, and those of you just looking to see another way of being or another way of seeing that could be more freeing in your life. So today we're reading once again from this book, The Tao Te Ching by Lao Tzu, and this verse comes from number 41, and it says, "Thus it is said, the path into the light seems dark. The path forward seems to go back. The direct path seems long. True power seems weak. True purity seems tarnished. True steadfastness seems changeable. True clarity seems obscure. The greatest art seems unsophisticated. The greatest love seems indifferent. And the greatest wisdom seems childish."
Oh man.
So there's a lot that we can get into, but I just want to break it down verse by verse, just whatever hits you. The first thing that hits you when you hear about this, we can just talk about what it speaks to us. So first, the path into the light seems dark.
Right.
How does that hit you when you hear that?
Well, dealing from my experience, right now, I usually teach about the 5 pillars a person go through. And one is called the first concealment. In other words, something is hidden from you.
Right.
And we got to admit, there is a lot hidden from us. So when you come into this journey, you got things that are hidden from you. You got your expectations, but your expectations are going to get blown out the water.
Okay.
It's going to get blown out the water, because how we've been taught about spirituality, we got to admit, it was taught by, how should I say, the dark forces. Yeah, because they wanted you to think like that so they can rise.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So everybody do got concepts that we're saying it because we were taught that, but not really realizing what the meaning is or what we're saying.
Right.
So yeah, when you come in here, it seems dark at first. And have you been forsaken?
Right. Okay. And it's not always what people expect.
Exactly.
You're right. Okay.
Oh man.
So it's not like some people might be expecting more sunshine and rainbows.
Right.
But it actually seems dark when you're going towards the light.
Exactly.
Okay.
Oh man, you've been in the cave so long, your eyes adjusted to the darkness, the light don't seem too friendly.
Right.
Your eyes hurt.
Right. It might be blinding.
Right, blinding. So of course, if you're blind, it seems dark.
Yes. Okay.
Oh man, this is deep.
That's a good one. All right. Now, the path forward seems to go back.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Now again, and this is just real for a person who's really experiencing cleaning up the stuff in their hardware. And as you got different blockages and traumas in you, that stuff is going to start coming up or reminding you are coming back. So of course it's going to seem like you're going backwards. You're just like, man, I didn't sign up for this, or I ain't ready to deal with it yet.
Right.
But even if you ain't ready to deal with it and you put it back down, it's going to come up again. It's going to keep coming up till you deal with it. So that journey in the beginning stages, I feel like you're going backwards.
Right, because it's almost like, during our lives, with all the energy that we expend or all the things that we do, that we don't realize what we're doing, we don't have the conscious awareness.
Right.
It's almost like we're charging a credit card. Like we're swiping like beep, beep,
Right.
beep. And we don't realize that we're, swiping the card, but eventually we're going to have to pay it back.
Exactly.
Like
nobody gets away.
Right. There's no escaping it. So sometimes, like you talk about the whole deficit with the fasting deficit, when we're going into the journey and we're doing things that we've never done before,
Right.
It might get worse before it gets better.
Exactly.
So it seems to go back.
Cleaning
Even
up the
though
house.
we are going forward, it seems like we're going back.
Seems like we're going back. And keep in mind when we say nobody gets away, when I say that, it ain't just that the universe is trying to punish you, because we was in ignorance, you couldn't see.
Right.
It ain't that type of party, but it's sort of like if you got to clean up this junky room, when you first opened it up, all the cobwebs is everywhere. So that's how it looks, the perception.
Yeah.
So you just have to go to work and stay in there.
Got a clean house.
Got a clean house. Everybody get out.
We got work to do.
We got work to do.
So here's another one. So the direct path seems long. I like this one. What do you think about
That's why in
that?
spirituality they got a thing called patience. Patience. And every time I teach the breath in message, somebody asks the question, how long would it take?
Yes.
And if I say a decade, and I do, work with a decade and then come back and get with me. Man, they don't want to hear that.
They give up.
Right.
Yeah.
But a decade, is that really long? Remember my favorite saying, a day is long, but a decade is short. Those of you who got some age on you, you know a decade went fast. And it depends what you did in that decade. You either could be proud, well, I did stay consistent on that decade.
Right.
Or, man, I could have been doing a lot more in that decade, but I let that go and I was chasing something else.
Right.
But it went fast, so they waiting on nobody.
Right. And the time's going to pass by anyway.
Absolutely.
Whether you do it or don't. Yeah.
It's going right now.
Yeah. So I like that when it says the direct path seems long, because even though, you know how some people will say, and I'm sure you've heard this before, but someone said, slowly is the quickest way to where you want to be.
Exactly.
Slowly is the quickest way.
The quickest way.
Yeah.
Because, it's sort of like how I'm traveling now on foot. Now, that's slow compared to a plane, it's slow compared to a bus, a car. But I'm seeing everything on the view. You see things that you won't see in those vehicles. You're learning a whole lot more. I'm meeting people I would have never met.
Yeah.
Experiences you would have never seen. So right now, you're growing faster.
Right.
So even right now, I'm here in America for a quick break, on my African trip. I'm still assessing what happened.
Okay.
But if I was had that fast transportation, I miss so much, it wouldn't mean nothing.
You miss a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
So most people on a fast transportation, you only see the destination when you get there. But when you're traveling this other way, the whole thing is the journey. You got a bigger vacation.
You can appreciate it.
You can appreciate it.
Yes. And it's almost as if, as well, Elitam, that if we're in a rush and you're running to get somewhere, like you're running towards the destination instead of slowing down and enjoying the journey, you might trip or you might fall or you might stumble. And then, when you pick up yourself, you dust yourself off with your scrapes and bruises, you might now, it's like you have to, heal yourself up from going so fast.
Right.
Now it's going to take you double the time.
Double the time.
So going slowly, taking your time is actually the direct path.
That's the direct path.
Even though it seems longer.
Absolutely. This is something, ain't it? Or just like taking your time chewing your food.
Right.
All of this stuff.
Right.
Take your time. Patience.
Yes.
So you can really get the fullness of the experience. That's what they're saying, and that's the direct path.
Because so many times when I didn't take my time, even appreciating the things that I was consuming, and I was just scarfing it down, just going through it, not really appreciating it, afterwards I still felt hungry. Because I never even really was there with my whole presence.
Wasn't even there.
So it added on to it and added on to it, added on to it. And
exactly.
Then, yeah.
Oh, man. And it's not necessary to go fast.
Right.
So you're already immortal, but this is a way to start claiming it. Claiming it through going slow.
Claiming your immortality.
Right. You're claiming it.
Okay.
Oh, man. Really living the process. You are the process. You ain't speeding through the process. You ain't learned nothing. You didn't develop.
Wow. So you flipped it where, the modern person might say, live like there's no tomorrow. You live as though you have all day.
Right.
You live as though
all day.
Like you have forever.
Forever.
Okay.
Oh, man, I was just telling you my walk today that took 3 hours just to go somewhere. But I wasn't worried about the time. But I got there.
Yeah.
And seeing a whole lot of things I wouldn't have saw.
Right.
Met people I wouldn't have met. So it was all good.
Okay.
Oh, man, that's just life.
Okay. Okay. So the next one is true power seems weak.
Oh, man, here we go.
How does that speak to you?
Oh, man. Now, that is a good one. First of all, true power ain't got to say it's powerful. So that's number one. Usually when a person got to boast that they're powerful and they could do this and do that, it's because they're really not.
Okay.
Sort of like an angry person they do things out of anger to show you how much power they got.
Okay.
You follow
They're trying
me?
to prove it.
Trying to prove it.
Okay.
Well, when you're powerful, you ain't got to prove it. It speaks for itself. That's something, ain't it?
Yes.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
So that's why it could seem weak, because it ain't boasting and bragging. If I was in that position, I'd do this, I'd do that. You don't know what you'll do. Matter of fact, you couldn't even handle that power.
Right. Right. And
that's why you ain't got it.
Okay.
Oh, man.
And speaking of which, what we can handle, and what, some people are very surprised when they're putting their hands up and standing like a tree, and it seems weak, right? It seems like, oh, you're not doing much. You're not lifting heavy weights. You're just putting your own body, your own hands up in the air.
Right.
But you're saying this is where the power is.
This is where the power is, because you're emptying out, getting filled up, you're stationary, you're submitting.
Right.
To these forces, these invisible forces that's working on a vessel. And it seems weak, because I have many people, especially just real young, to be like, I don't see how this is going to make me strong. But when they start working with it, see, this is work. Shoulders is energy. Right. Now you with the big boys and big girls.
Right.
Now you see the power. Oh, man.
Everything is shaking. You shaking.
And people now, the only thing I do is encourage them to stick with it so you can keep growing.
Okay.
Because this power don't end. It's only going to give you enough you can handle.
Right.
So we got some, I ain't going to even use the word promises.
Okay.
Scientifically, if you write it down on where this can go, because we're made of molecules and atoms, and we're filling it up, transforming it right now.
Right.
Man, don't give up. Let's see where this could go. And we done came this far.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Put it to the test.
There's a lot of power.
Yes.
It seemed weak at first. But the more we continue, the more people are saying much respect.
Yes. Okay.
Right. You're working with this.
Okay. So as long as we don't neglect it, eventually we come to respect it.
Exactly.
Okay.
In other words, it depends on how much value you give it.
Right.
But the power is already valuable.
Right.
The sun is powerful. We all know it. But it don't force you to go up under it. It just say here.
Right. And that actually goes into another one, but we'll get into that one down here.
Right.
The greatest love. So that reminds me of the sun. So the next one is true purity seems tarnished.
Oh, man. Here we go.
True purity seems tarnished.
Right. See, we in this culture, and it's going to change itself around because we had enough. But we're in this culture where somebody who is more pure, staying more straight, we kind of tease them from being awkward. That's something, ain't it?
Okay.
But now, since this has ran its course, we're looking for that purity again. But before it seemed tarnished. Nobody wanted to be like that.
Right.
Some people started acting out being bad because they don't want to be on that side of purity. But now purity, we need it. And it's looking good right about now.
Right.
But for a minute there, humanity did tarnish it. Did a good job too.
Okay.
And you can see where, over 100 years ago, and this ain't talking about women like that, but it was easier to find a virgin back then.
I see what you mean.
You see what I'm getting at?
Okay.
It all got tarnished. That's we don't do that no more. But now it's coming back that it's going to pay off.
Right. And even when you were with Shayna Dean, I would see sometimes that y'all would have sayings to each other like, purity is the new high.
Right. The new high. Because it feels good.
Right.
Especially when you're on this path, you start cleaning yourself out. I was walking today thinking about that. Man, it feels so good to be a good person. This is something, ain't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels good to be a good person. So this makes you want to do more. Before it was tarnished, I would have never thought that about, 30 years ago. As you coming up. You ain't supposed to think like that. You're supposed to be tough.
Right.
Now it's changing. It's good to do something good for somebody.
Right.
Good feeling.
Right.
Oh, man.
This is good. So the next one is true steadfastness seems changeable. That's an interesting one. So true steadfastness seems changeable.
Seems changeable. In other words,
okay.
I like this one because that's a test for myself, and I tell people when they start on this journey, stay consistent. Because people are expecting you to quit.
Right.
So it seems changeable. That's not sustainable.
Okay.
But as you stay in the game, and it starts becoming more sustainable, you know, slowly and gradually it develops in your lifestyle where it's not a practice no more. Then you pass the test where people can see that the steadfastness is here to stay.
Okay.
You ain't got grounded.
Yes.
But in the beginning, that challenge is there.
Okay.
Would your steadfastness make that test to make it through your own personal wilderness, or will it change back and go back home?
Right, because you said we can easily talk ourselves out of these things.
Absolutely.
Right.
But that's the biggest conversation we have. It ain't really what other people say. It's your own dialogue. Because when I started out, many people said stuff to me that I couldn't listen to it. But I had another conversation going on. Don't forget them.
Did that even give you more fire? Or
Gave you more fire.
Did it add more fuel to
We'll
the
see
flame?
after the smoke is clear.
Oh man.
Get back up. Right. You're talking to yourself. Not even them. Get back up. Get back in the ring.
Okay.
All right. That took the wind out of you.
Right. Right. Put your hands back up.
Put your hands back
Get
up.
in there.
Get in there.
Yeah.
Put them up and swing. Right. You gotta. Sometimes you ain't got no cheerleaders.
Right.
You got to cheerlead yourself.
You gotta be your own coach.
Get 'em. Good one.
You gotta be in your corner. You gotta be the cut man, the coach, with the glove. You know, you
All
gotta
this
be.
stuff. Right.
Wow.
Oh man.
Wow.
You're your number one motivator.
Oh man.
You know, we listen to motivators on speakers. There's some good ones, but they only can talk to you through so much.
Right. You gotta be your own cheerleader.
You gotta be your own cheerleader.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I've heard of people in the Marines and different different forces in the military that they've developed that personality within them that whenever they think they get to this point where they've given their all and they're just about to quit, like going through training or different scenarios, and they think they can't get up.
Yeah.
And they've developed a voice inside that says get up.
Right.
Get up.
You got to get up.
You have to give it.
Oh,
and it's
man.
nobody else can do it for them. Like, they have to have that voice inside
You have
them
to have it.
that gets them back up.
Oh, and I'll tell you what. I'm doing my walk through Africa.
Okay.
There's times I'm sitting there with the backpack.
Yeah.
Should I rest now? I start saying the cadence back when I was in boot camp. Hey, your left. Your left.
Wow.
Right, it's going through all in my head. Pretty soon I'm in step.
Okay.
And I'm by myself.
Yeah.
But it's getting me through. Right.
Okay.
It's
and
programmed in you.
your muscles have the memory
Got the memory.
of doing all of that
And
training.
everything in the cadence.
Okay.
You got the rhythm.
Yeah.
Your body's picked up and you're moving on. But your own mind is saying the cadence.
Okay. Okay. So even though there's no squad around you,
Right.
you're still
Now this is the squad.
okay.
You're out here.
Okay.
But you're still part of the troop.
Right. Regroup. We part of the troop.
Oh man, this is true story.
Yeah.
You can't make this up.
I love it.
Oh man.
I love it. So the next one is true clarity seems obscure.
Whoa.
You like that?
True clarity. Now that is true.
Okay.
Yeah, we like to say that's the term. Let's be crystal clear.
Yes.
And some people don't like the crystal clearness because sometimes it can seem mean or a little harsh.
Okay.
But being clear, a true enlightened person do talk to you clear.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is what I see.
Right.
And some people, when they got an agenda, because you got your preconceptions, you wanted to go a certain way. Just because you wanted to go a certain way, that's not how it's looking.
Right.
So let's be clear. And it's good to have clarity.
Right.
But like I said, some people got to get used to it in the beginning. Because I got people who get mad at me at times now. You might say, for what? Because I came clear.
Yes.
And they wasn't expecting that.
Yes.
But I'm doing it not to be mean, to really let them see what you're up against, what you're dealing with. And because their mind might be kind of foggy.
Yes.
And some people, they'll say thank you, because thank you for giving me that clarity. And then some fire back. And I say, see, that's, I was trying to tell you something good. We were just being clear.
Right.
This ain't no hard feelings.
Right. Right.
And they usually don't make it. You got to listen sometimes.
Okay.
Especially if somebody already been in the game and you're trying to get some input.
Exactly. Exactly. No,
Right.
you're right. And that some things, and that's why I like that your teachings, you bring things down to earth, you level with people, you break things down so that we can really understand it. And it's not, so out there that the person won't understand what you're talking about.
Right.
Because there are things that you explain and how true clarity can seem obscure sometimes, where it's like, it seems hazy on the front end, or it seems like they're a little confused. It doesn't make sense because
Right.
it's different from the way that they're used to thinking.
Right, the narrative.
But it's actually true clarity.
Yep.
Okay.
The narrative. And all it did is trigger somebody because they
Right.
wanted it in their narrative.
Right.
But we get to digging a little bit. If they just hang in there,
Yes.
it all makes sense, and they got to do one or two things: give it up or hang on to your narrative and let me know how that worked for you.
And that brings back clarity.
That brings back clarity.
Got it. Got it. Okay. Now,
Oh man.
the next one is the greatest art seems unsophisticated.
Oh man, this is another good one.
Okay.
Oh, the greatest art seems unsophisticated, and that's see, the greatest art is our lives. Actually, we are actually artists of our lives. So that's the greatest art. But to really live I was just thinking today about, a project on how it should come together, just dealing with things I want to do in my life. And right now, I notice how simple it is.
Right. Right.
And there was a time I wouldn't have thought that simple. I would have thought it would have took a lot more, and that mind would have put me in a lot of pain and suffering.
Okay.
But now everything's so simple, there's no way in the world it should be pain and suffering, because I grew and I got older and got more information.
Right.
So, yeah, the greatest art, because our life is an art, seemed unsophisticated. So when I was younger, what I'm trying to do now would have been unsophisticated.
Wow. Okay. So you had to grow into simplicity.
Yeah,
You had to grow into
had to grow into it.
Okay.
That this system teaches you big this, big that. Whoever got this is the winner, and la 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 la. But I could do things now and live way more better. Sort of like I was in India one time, and some guy said, so you're the only time you could be a millionaire. And I said, what you mean? I'm already living rich. I said, look, we're at a resort. There's the ocean right there. Look at me sitting here. What are you talking about?
Right. Right.
What else we need to do? Oh, man.
Yes.
You only could be in one place at one time.
Right.
You see where I'm getting at? That was the simplicity.
Okay.
I was already living like a millionaire.
Yes. Yeah. So what so many people are reaching for, and
Right.
like you're already residing within it.
And you're already living it.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But it seems unsophisticated.
Unsophisticated.
But it's actually the greatest art.
It's the greatest. Oh, man. And if he would just let go, he could have been enjoying a millionaire life too. But
Right.
his mind got him trapped.
Right.
So he's chasing something he might not never get.
Oh my God.
That's wow.
Okay. Okay.
Oh.
So I love that because, we're humans, they say we're complex creatures, but a lot of times we make things too complex. We're used to complexity. We're used to complexity when it comes to the assortments of food, when it comes to even not only the food, but the seasonings on top of the food and the things that we blend with the food and things. So everything is so complex. You look on the back of ingredients labels and you see all of these different ingredients, like 100 different ingredients
Right.
for one little thing.
For one little thing.
And it's used to complexity, but we're not so used to simplicity.
Exactly. Oh, man.
But there's a lot of greatness within simplicity.
A lot of greatness.
Okay.
We could go on and on that one, but simplicity always pays off.
Okay.
Oh, man.
Okay.
Woo!
Whew. Okay.
This is good.
The next one is, and I think you'll really like this one. And we were just talking about the sun, how the sun shines on everybody.
Right.
It doesn't matter who you are, right? It's giving it to everybody,
Giving it.
whether you like it or not. So the next one is the greatest love seems indifferent.
Oh, here we go. The greatest love seemed a difference. Now, I usually didn't like that word love.
Okay.
For the simple fact how humans act out. But when we start being on this path and you're dealing with all this love energy, and when I first started teaching it, this is love. And people will look, what?
Yeah.
This is love.
Right.
So it seemed indifference because people made love into an emotion. And they ain't got nothing to do with no emotion. Especially when we talk about, unconditional love, we'll just give it to God. But the sun is giving everybody unconditional love.
Right.
So when we're meditating, we're feeling that energy, and I'm trying to explain that this mostly comes from the sun, and this is what love is.
Yeah.
Because somebody right now that we probably don't like, that did something in society, that same force just woke them up.
Right.
So it seemed indifferent. Why would you wake them up like me?
Right. No judgment. It's not even judging.
Not even judging.
It's indifferent.
It's indifferent.
But that's the greatest love.
That's the greatest love.
Okay.
Waking up all types of stuff. The mouse, the dog, what everybody up here.
That's what. Yeah, you said that before. You're like, it did that to a rat. You know, it did that to a mouse. What makes you so special?
What makes me special?
It's doing the same thing to
God
everybody.
woke me up this morning. You know, woke a squirrel up this morning. Yeah.
Okay.
Powerful love.
So that's what we mean when we say unconditional. It's like it's giving it to you anyways.
Not even judging.
You don't have to meet the right conditions.
Right.
It's just it's getting down on you. It's raining down on
Oh
you.
man, that's something. That's why I kind of hinted at yesterday when we talk about manifestation, or what's that other word? Attraction.
The law of attraction.
And I kind of went there and said, well, we really don't do that because it's giving it to you anyway. You know, because sometimes we'll do something. Maybe it was the prayer I did. Maybe it's because of who I am. Maybe it's because of my meditation or something. Because one of my friends, something happened and they started to say, well, maybe it's because how they are. And I said, no, that was going to come together anyway.
Wow.
Because everybody else who was part of it, they had that agenda going too.
Okay.
It just wasn't you.
Okay. It's indifferent. It just wasn't you.
It just wasn't.
Yeah.
But it brought them back to size where they had to think and say, wow.
That'll humble somebody. It'll humble you.
Wow. They're about to put it is because of their behavior that's taken off like that. I say, nah, there's other people part of that. What about theirs? It just came together.
Right.
You don't need a story behind it.
Right. But we like to put the story.
We like to put the story
Yeah.
and put yourself in the front because of who I am and what I believe in.
Wow.
But life is life. It's just putting things together.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
man.
love that. That gives a different
Love.
Yeah. The greatest. Yeah.
Right. That's why I don't be praying, asking for nothing, begging the universe and all of this. But it comes together anyway.
It still comes to you.
But there's some people like that. You just arrogant. Now you got nothing to do with arrogance. That's the power of that love.
Right.
You enjoying it too.
Right.
We might as well say it.
Just for you to wake up. Yeah.
Oh man, this is something.
Oh man. So the last one, and I love this because, you know, you remind me of this. You carry it within you. The last one is the greatest wisdom seems childish.
Right.
The greatest wisdom.
The greatest wisdom seems childish.
Yes.
Oh man, here we go.
Because there's so many times, you know, that like we'll be talking about things, and you know, I remember when you told us, Elitam, you said, he who laughs at himself will never run out of things to laugh at.
Exactly.
Right?
Right.
And that's wisdom right there.
That's wisdom right there. My whole journey been comical.
It's been a comedy, you said.
A comedy. Oh man. I just look at it and say, man, I just did that. Right. That was crazy. Right. You can laugh at it, but that's good wisdom because you never beat up on yourself.
Right.
And that keeps you from beating up on others.
Right.
That's something, ain't it? Oh man, the greatest wisdom seemed childish. And even on this journey, little bits and pieces I picked up, of course, people around you is looking like, well, you grown, you don't do that. You know, like when I gave up my car one time. You need a car. But then when you start doing this, riding a bike. Or kids ride bikes, you know, but as time went on, people start looking at that, man, he's really into that. You start getting childlike. Right. I mean, that's...
Right. So they were looking
it was
at
all
you,
wisdom.
They were looking at you for doing something that seemed childish.
Right.
But you were actually exercising the greatest wisdom because you were exercising your body.
Exactly.
You're doing something that is benefiting you, whether they recognize it or not.
Whether you recognize them or not.
Okay.
And everybody else was going for things that that makes you into an adult, a responsible person, but it's putting them more into bondage.
Right. Because I remember there was a lady one time, and she really changed my whole paradigm on vehicles. And she said, you know, you're not moving when you're just sitting there in the car. And she looks at cars like moving wheelchairs.
Exactly.
Like a wheelchair that can move 70 miles per hour or something like, but it's still a wheelchair.
It's a wheelchair.
You're not moving your legs, you're not moving anything.
Exactly. I said it one time too.
Okay.
And somebody, I said, and I went to many places and said that.
Okay.
They'll say, oh, it's about that way over there. There's the taxis over there. I'm going to walk. You're going to walk.
Right.
Because they're used to the wheelchairs.
Okay.
Handicapped.
So just because you're using your body,
You're using your body.
and you'll walk that distance, and they say,
Yeah.
why are you walking? Why would you walk that
And
distance?
it's not even a long distance on
Right.
these instances.
Right.
But people got so trained of using a wheelchair. It's hampering their body instead of using their natural abilities.
Okay.
And that's not wisdom.
Okay.
Energy loves to move. Your body loves to move. It loves to breathe. It loves to play. But once it starts freezing up, man, that's just a memory.
Yeah.
And you got to work hard to try to get that back.
And
Oh.
you might have to acquire that wisdom through experience, through the harsh experience.
There was even a man who was quite successful, in the world on certain things. And he got a YouTube where he teach a lot of young men different things. But he said, one thing I wish I would have learned when I was younger was to really appreciate exercise.
Okay.
He said he's exercising now, but it's hard
Yeah.
because he didn't grow up with that habit. But he's telling the younger people, get that exercise up under your belt. So when you get older, you can keep it.
Right. And when you observe children, they're doing things that are childish because it's a child, but it's doing things that are naturally efficient and effective for the body.
Exactly.
So they're playing in the sun, they're playing outside, they're running in the park, they're recess, they're recreation, they're moving all the time.
Moving.
And they got abundance of amounts of energy. And even though it seems childish, they're doing what we could still be doing right now.
Still can be doing, just a big kid.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Oh, man, this is good. The greatest wisdom seems childish.
Wow.
We could go on and on and on with that one, but that's the truth of the matter.
Okay.
And that's why I tell people, you just keep on living. Because when you run into these things, it'll either make you wise or you're going to get bitter.
So don't get bitter, get better.
Get better.
Yeah.
Right. Oh,
Awesome.
man.
Awesome.
This is good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Peace, peace, peace.
All right. Take care.